Take your wildest dream and make it a reality. Make it not a dream anymore. Make it something that's real. Bring it to fruition. Tell yourself you're a star.
Peace. Choose to inspire, not destroy podcast, and we're back.
Austin.
Yo. Choose to inspire, not destroy.
Peace. Choose to inspire, not destroy podcast, episode 37, and we're back. This time I just got one of my guys with me, Kofi. I'm G, but we're joined by a really special guest, Shawn Geegbae. Appreciate you showing us some love and coming and sitting down talking with us. If this is your first time here, welcome. You're in a safe place. If you've been here before, appreciate you sticking with us and hope you've been enjoying the content and what we're trying to bring to the table. Shout out to B. He's still a part of the family. He just has some things that he had to take care of, but B, we'll be waiting when you get back, bro. Fellas, what's going on? How y'all doing?
I'm good. Good. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Nah, it's a pleasure. When Kofi told me that he had a guest, I was excited. It shows that, you know, he's sticking to the script for what we trying to do this year. We're moving forward and interacting with some people. And he told me some things about you, so I'm really looking forward to hearing what you got to share. But before we get into that, Kofi, you know I'm usually on here and I'm giving flowers and I'm showing love and I'm giving praise. Yeah. I gotta give you some weeds real quick, bro. I gotta kick your back in a little bit, man, because we spoke the other day. We speak a lot, like we speak all the time for the most part, right? Just checking in on each other. So, and Shawn, let me know if I'm wrong with this one, please. Okay. So, you know, he called me and I missed the call. I texted him back a little later and I told him, you know, I apologize for missing your call, but I fell off the ladder in my backyard. And I went into some other stuff. And he just hit me back with, it was something like, no worries, and jumped straight into what he wanted to talk about. And it was, he still hasn't asked me if I'm all right or anything. Like, we've just been, and I've spoken to him at least twice on the phone, through text, and it's like, come on, dude. What type of friend are you that I tell you I fell off a lie? I almost felt like he thought I was lying or something. Now, should I be a little annoyed with him with this one?
Yeah, you gotta at least be like, hey, are you right? Kofi was like, oh, he could text from the hospital bed. It's all good.
Yeah, something. I don't even understand it. And it this time it was like it was a real fall, because you know when you get older.
Oh, yeah.
Falls are different. I'm 40. It was freezing outside. I fell in some dirt. It felt like a movie, and I couldn't believe it. And I wanted to tell him the story, but he never asked me what happened or if I was okay. So I never got to tell him the story because it was actually a funny story.
Damn, my bad. I read your text message crazy quick and was like, oh, all right, so he still wants to record. Yeah. I didn't even see at the beginning. It was like, yo, I fell off the ladder. But like, you got to add more. You got to add exclamation points and like periods after it, like a bunch of periods. So like, it shouldn't be like, yo, my bad, I didn't call you. I fell off the ladder, but I still want to record. Because I'm reading, I'm scanning it. I'm like, all right, you still want to record? Boom. Are you okay?
That's right. That's what it was. He was asking when was the next time I wanted to record. And I'm like, bro, I could almost be in the hospital right now. You worried about, I appreciate you worrying about the show, but worry about me a little bit.
My bad. Oh, man. I would blame it at work, but that's really no excuse.
Yeah.
How did you fall off the ladder?
Bro, listen, there's, you know, like, when you have a home, it's a certain amount of pressure. Because when something goes wrong, there's no landlord. Like, you know, you got to take care of that. So between that and having a wife that, you know, they start hinting at stuff when things are about to be messed up. Mm-hmm. And I've been hearing a scratching noise like in my wall for months. I didn't know. Wait, it's been a scratch, right? Like all times a day. So at first I'm thinking it's a bird, maybe stuck in my chimney or whatever. But it stops, it leaves, it comes back. It rains, it's still there. It's freezing now, it's still there. So finally one day we in the living room. My bedroom is on the top floor. We in the living room. I'm talking to my wife, and I hear the scratching. And, you know, she's kind of like, oh, we're going to have to call somebody or whatever. And I know what that means. It's like, bro, you're not doing enough to find out what's going on. So I grab my coat. I grab the broom. I run outside to the side of the house by where the chimney is. Mm-hmm. I'm looking. I don't see nothing. I put the ladder up. I go up the ladder. And I hear like the scratching or whatever it is. So I'm banging on the side of the house with the ladder, smacking it as hard as I can. And a squirrel runs out from like a crack between the house and the chimney. Now I'm not the toughest guy in the world. I'm not soft, but my tough meter between people and animals is different.
Oh yeah, it changes.
Yeah, it's really low when it comes to animals. So when it shot out, I forgot I was on the ladder and tried to like pivot and step straight off the ladder.
Ooh.
And it was just a thump. My glasses popped off, my hat flew off in my hood, and I'm laying there trying to get in my phone to call my wife, because I'm like, if it was a cartoon, it'd have been Tweety birds or something flying around my head, and all I hear is, "Babe, you all right?" Through the walls though, and I'm like, what? Like, I'm like, wait, what is that? And I'm like, no, just like and I hear her. She runs outside. She helps me up, and once I realized, like, all right, you know, nothing is broke, but I'm sore. Yeah. It was funny. But at the time, I was laying there like, oh, no, I can't believe this just happened to me out here over a squirrel. And when I'm looking up from the floor, the squirrel is on my roof looking down at me. So it's war now. Now it's on until I figure out how to get this squirrel out of here. I don't know what I'm going to do. But imagine being close to somebody and that happening to you and you wanting to share the story and they just want to record.
That's crazy. My bad. Oh man, I feel terrible. Well, I'm happy that you're still mobile and a full cast with your own. If you just said, and when I hit the ground, I go to pull out my phone to text my wife or call her, in comes your message about recording.
I was so mad. My jeans was so tight, I could barely get my hand in my pocket to get the phone out. But I've been waiting to get that off with you, Kofi. And now that I said it, I'm good. I feel better. I accept your apology. Shawn, we could get into knowing our guest, man, because I'm looking forward to this one. Kofi, I'm going to step back and, let you intro this one.
So, man, it's been, since 2004? So I want to say I've known Shawn for at least 18 years.
Wow.
Man, is that long? 2004, jeez.
Well, yeah, I mean, we used to,
Well, you're right. When you do the math, it's like, ugh.
Yeah. I mean, I've known Shawn since we went to school at Syracuse. Shawn was an upperclassman when I got there, and we all used to play ball, and I forgot how we met. It was probably through playing basketball, but there was a crew of us that would play. And, Shawn was one of the people that, I hung out with as consistent as possible. And then through the years, we just ended up hanging out even more. At one point, even when Shawn lived in New York, we was hanging out more and more. And our bond grew from there. But Shawn has done some incredible things in his lifetime and has shared most of the knowledge with me, which is fantastic. So I'm always happy to be able to give Shawn his roses and be able to sit down and have a conversation. So I hope this episode is something, one, that people can look at and laugh with us about, especially falling off ladders. And then 2, learn a little bit of something from it. So with that, I want to introduce you to Shawn. Shawn, you want to tell us a little bit about your life, I guess, leading up to when you got to Syracuse?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that intro. So just talking about my life. So I was born in Liberia, which is West Africa. I came to the U.S. and the lucky thing about it, me and my brother Marcel, because my mom came here earlier with my, father. But we got here 2 weeks before the rebels came into Monrovia, which is the capital of Liberia. So if we hadn't gotten out then, we would have been stuck in Liberia, and the country went through a 15-year civil war. So it was great timing to leave 2 weeks before they got into the capital, for us to, be in the U.S. And then while we were in the U.S., I grew up in Northern Virginia, Centerville to be exact. And I think basketball really took over my life because in the neighborhood I grew up in, there was 7 other boys. And we had a basketball court, 2 full courts right at our bus stop since like elementary school. So after school, we'll always be playing basketball before school. So basketball was our lives. And all of us, like I said before, all in the same grade. So we would just play basketball all the time. Everyone played varsity in high school. So, basketball has been a huge part of my life. And my junior year, then I transferred to a private school, St. Stephen's and St. Agnes in Alexandria, Virginia. That was great just to, get the private school education because you really see how there's a difference. And the difference is really in the class sizes. Going from public school, you probably have like 25, 30 people in your class. And then private school is like 12, at the max 14. And the key thing about that is you got to do your homework because, well, she's just going to look crazy in class because the teacher is going to call on everybody and see everyone. So, that really made a big difference. And it actually made going to Syracuse or the coursework at Syracuse a lot easier because, in private school is a lot of writing, a lot of reading. So, it made my transition into college, much easier. But one of the reasons I chose Syracuse, I was watching a basketball game and I was like, oh, they're in the Big East. It's New York. Because at that time, New York City basketball was the mecca. Like, if you from New York, you got to play. And the funny thing is, Kofi got game, bro. Kofi is a straight baller.
Is he really?
See, that's the thing. George, my same exact thing. Because I remember when I first played with Kofi, I was like, oh, man, he ain't that good. Because I was judging, you know. Kofi, right. I was like,
yeah. All right. Now that I heard it from somebody else that know, I'll give him that.
Yes, certified. He can ball, pass, dribble, rebound. He's a pure baller. He can ball. So I chose Syracuse based on basketball. Thinking, oh, I could go there and play basketball, and I'm good. But at that level, those guys are like 6'4". And our championship team with Carmelo had like 7-footers, people 6'10", 6'11". So, it was like you can be good, but as I say, you can't teach height. But it was a very good experience. And then, I think I'm a year older than Kofi in terms of class. But a good story. This one I knew Kofi was, a friend to keep. So it's my senior year. Like he mentioned, we met each other playing basketball. We have a mutual friend, Ivan. What's up, Ivan? Ivan's a cool dude. And then at this time, Kofi's in the fraternity. And what was your role in the fraternity, Kofi?
I was social chair, so I threw all the parties.
So he's social chair. So it's winter time, second semester, my senior year, probably his junior year. It's Syracuse, so it's always cold and always snowing or something. So I got, the undershirt on, the long johns, the hoodie with the jacket, you walk into the party, we go to their house. The guy comes outside and I'm like, oh yeah, Kofi, I know Kofi. I got to get in this party. I'm yelling at all that. So we get into it's like me, my boy Alejandro. There's people waiting outside because he's in like the most popular fraternity. So we get in there. And like I told you, I got my jacket, everything on. So I'm walking in the party and I'm seeing like the other brothers. These guys got like Hawaiian shirts on and shorts. And I'm like, what are these guys doing? Keep walking further and further. These youngins got sand, like about 2 feet of sand in the living room, having a beach party, volleyball net. I was like, sand in the fraternity house. The party was lit, DJ, all the girls. I was like, Kofi is my dog forever, dog. Yeah, the best party I had in Syracuse. You got to think about it. Winter time in upstate New York, these guys got sand, beach party in a front house. I was like, that's some next level thinking, man.
Yeah. Kofi, you been holding out, bruh.
Yeah, well, I try not to bring it up unless unless the situation warrants the story. Because if you just start randomly bringing up, like, oh yeah, my dad is Obama or something like that, hey, why are you bragging? So, in due time. But man, I remember that story. I remember turning Jerry McNamara away also because like he wanted to come in, and we sold tickets. So here's the deal: in school. I worked at the student box office. So I worked at the student box office at the student center selling tickets. And then I worked at the Carrier Dome, the arena, selling tickets. So we got this crazy idea because we knew this party was going to be nuts, where we were going to sell tickets to our party. And we did like something with like where you can only, like when you hold it up to a black light, we can tell if they're authentic or not, because people were bootlegging our tickets like 2 weeks up into it. Mm-hmm. So I remember Jerry McNamara showed up and didn't have any tickets, and he thought that he was going to get in. Our chapter advisor was a part of the coaching staff, I'll say, for the basketball team. So most of the athletes would try and come to the party anyway, and we were cool with most of them, so we'd let them in. But like G-Mac just tried to skip the whole line, like he was going to come in, and like at the time we had dedicated younger classmen that were eager to help us out at our parties, that would eventually become brothers. So they were working the party as kind of security and staff, and they called me on the radio like, hey, can you come out here? We have somebody that's trying to get in that doesn't have a ticket. So I go out there, and mind you, I've had classes with Jerry, like all 3 years at that point. And he's like, yo, I want to get in. And I'm like, do you have a ticket? And he's like, no, I don't have a ticket, but pretty much I'm Jerry McNamara. And we turned him away. We were like, nah, bro, you don't have a ticket. This is the hottest party of the year. If you don't have a ticket, you don't have a ticket. I don't care who you are. Mm-hmm. So that was crazy. We got in so much trouble for the sand. We also had, since we're on the topic, 2 hot tubs on our porch, and we had the blue construction tarp covering our porch, which faced the entire campus. And then we had a room full of foam, and we had like a foam machine that would just fill up. I still have pictures of Darryl Watkins and Terrence Roberts in the foam room. I keep those in the stash, and I need to use them at some point. So it was wild. Syracuse was a very wild.
It sounds like it. That sounds like a ton of fun.
It's a great school, man. Like it's good. Got good academics. Whitman School of Management. You got the Newhouse with TRF, television, radio, and film. But it's like, and the thing is, since it's upstate New York, you really got some hardworking people. Same thing from New York City, Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut, So it was my first experience coming from Virginia, the South. Because we're Northern Virginia, right near the Mason-Dixon line, so I consider us more north, but it's still the South because it's Virginia. But it was my first time, hanging around New Yorkers, and so they're a cool and rowdy bunch, as you know, mm-hmm. being from Jersey, George. But it was definitely a good experience, and that's the thing. Everyone would go to class, work hard Monday through Thursday, and then Thursday night they party hard, man. I think it was ranked #1 party school like 2 years ago. And Syracuse is a lot of fun. It's a good school.
Yeah, I mean, I remember last anecdote about Syracuse, and then we'll move on. But I remember my senior year, I set up my schedule where I didn't have class on Friday or Monday. So I would take and my last class was at the School of Whitman, which was across the street from where all of the bars and restaurants were in Syracuse. So I would have another young, eager brother accompany me to class, and promptly after class, he would offer to carry my book bag home while I went out for the night.
You would offer?
Yes, he would offer to carry.
Was he like Farnsworth? This way. I had a young, eager, underclassman
that offered to carry your bag to get in them parties.
His schedule, and he liked the conversations that we would have. So he was like, "Hey, I'll come with you to your last class. I can take your book back home because I know you're busy from Thursday afternoon until Monday morning out. So I'll do that for you, and I'll also make sure that I hand you a beer at the end of class, which is fantastic."
Come on.
How big is this book bag that you needed somebody to carry it for you?
When you're in a fraternity, the love that's shared between each brother is fantastic. So, they go above and beyond.
I see. Before y'all get off Syracuse, though, I got to ask from two people that were there. Is Carmelo the best player to come out of Syracuse?
Carmelo is the greatest college basketball player that's ever lived.
Okay, that's stretching it.
Here's
I'm not
why.
going with that.
Here is why.
Oh, my goodness.
I should have never opened that door, right?
He won a national championship with nobody.
You just said McNamara.
Yeah.
Wait. But compared to, we played Dwayne Wade and Marquette. We played T.J. Ford in Texas. We played Nick Collison, and
well, we had a great squad. You had Hakeem Warwick, went to the league. You had 7-foot Craig Forth. You had Quef Duaney. You had Billy Edelin, 6'4" point guard, Josh Pace. I'll say this. I'll tell you my experience with Carmelo. So in the beginning of the season, we went to a game. This is Carmelo. I remember the first time I saw Carmelo was walking to class. It was like an early class. So I got my bag on again. It's not super cold, but it's getting cold. I'm walking. I see this dude. I'm like, this guy is tall, 6'8" dude. He got his little cornrows or whatever he had at that time. Walking, I'm like, this dude is big as hell. I was like, oh, he's probably on the basketball team. Kept it moving. They got a game. Go watch the game. I see the guy gets the ball, shoots some shots. At the end of the game, I look up, and it's like 30 points. I look at my roommate, Alejandro. I was like, how did he have 30 points? He was like, because he didn't miss a shot. Yes, dude. It looked like the guy shot the ball 5 times. This guy was unreal. Could do everything, dunk, shoot. And then my mom will always be like, oh, I like this guy because he's always smiling when he hits a shot. He's so happy when he's playing basketball. I was like, I guess. But I got to be real. I was hating on that team. I was like, they ain't good enough to make it. And they just kept winning. And I was like, they ain't good enough to make it. And they just kept winning and winning.
The first couple of, I think, up until what changed my mind about the team, because I was a hater and I worked at the Dome and met Carmelo over that summer because I was at Syracuse a little bit early. And actually, what's his name? Hakeem Warwick was in my major. So I'd see Hakeem Warwick all the time. And then, I hung out with the football team. So, and they all lived next to each other. So I would constantly I'd look at them and go, I understand you guys are good when you play the Nike Elite team and you play LeMoyne and you play Colgate. Yeah. But I don't believe it. What changed my mind was during the Big East tournament, if I'm not mistaken. We were playing, I think it was at Syracuse, and we were playing Notre Dame. And Syracuse was down by 15. And nobody was hitting anything at that point. And Carmelo had his braids at the time, and he would wear a headband, and he got fouled really hard. And they threw him to the floor. He got up, hit his 2 free throws. Bruh, he went on a 17-0 run by himself, and we won the game. I was like, yeah, we're probably going to win championship this year. I've never seen one person against 5 people going a 17-0 run by themselves. It was he wasn't even out there with anybody else. It was crazy.
Yeah, he's good, man. He's very good.
Yeah, I'm a big Melo fan. I feel like they give him a little too much grief in the league now. It's like, come on, he's a great talent, just a special player. You can't win a championship by yourself in the NBA. You know, maybe they trying to hold him to the same standard as college, but it's different when you in the NBA, man.
Mm-hmm. And even with that Knicks team, he had no help. It's like, okay, what is he gonna do? You know? But, yeah, definitely a major talent. You gotta think that was LeBron, D Wade, and Melo.
Yeah.
That was an insane draft class. But yeah, he definitely, dude, I had people calling me, oh, you won the national championship. I was like, I'm not on the team.
School spirit. School spirit. I can imagine how crazy the energy was around that time when that was going on.
I think when we went to the Final Four, we have like Marshall Street, which is our main street, where the bars or different things are there. Dude, that thing was packed. People were climbing trees, setting fire. Girls were flashing. I was like, what is going on? And then next semester, tuition goes straight up. Wants to come here.
Yeah, I'll never forget leading up to, so you know how the Final Four and the championship game are played the same weekend, right? So I'll never forget they interviewed Jim Boeheim before they flew into New Orleans for the Final Four and the championship. And they're like, Jim, you know, what are your expectations? You know, you guys are playing potentially, this is, I think we were either playing Marquette or Texas in the Final Four or something like that. And they were like, you know, this is a really good team. What are your expectations? Jim looked at them before he got on the plane. He was walking the tarmac and he was like, we're going to win 2 games. And he got on the plane. And I was like, that is the coldest answer I've ever seen in my entire life about getting ready to play in the tournament. So,
and that championship game was awesome, man. McNamara was on fire in the first half. It was, I was like, oh, we winning this because we watched it in the dome and they had all the TVs for all the students, man.
They put the Jumbotron down.
Yeah, people were going crazy. It was a fantastic experience, I got to say. Like, my whole goal going to Syracuse was to make the team and, you know, play and all that. But I'm just happy I had the chance to, you know, see that national championship. It's a remarkable thing for a school, you know, for you to be in school and then your team or school to win it is truly remarkable.
Yeah. So, Shawn, tell us a little bit about what you've done in your spare time, winning at the Money Game, published author, children's book, world traveler. We can get into one of the trips we've taken together or 2 of the trips we've taken together, but
I'll start with the travel. While I was junior year, I did a study abroad in Spain. So Syracuse has great study abroad programs, you know, all over the world. And it was a great chance, you know, to leave the country, you know, be in Europe for 6 months. Our first stop was Amsterdam. So when we get to Amsterdam, like we get off like the plane, we get on the bus, and where our hotel is, there's a giant poster of Carmelo Anthony and Nike. I was like, what? Yeah, it was crazy. But Amsterdam was definitely nice to see. And then I think we went to Germany. Germany is a great country, you know, very efficient, very clean, but probably the coldest place I've ever been. I was like, what is this? But we went in January. It was the coldest I've ever been. And then we went to Paris. And then from there, we went to Spain. So we got to see, you know, Europe in that January before we got to Spain in February. But yeah, study abroad there. And then when I got my master's, I did a study abroad in Beijing, China before the, the Olympics. So that was another great experience. I would highly recommend, you know, anybody who's watching, who has a chance to study abroad, maybe in school or even if you take some time off, it's just great to go, you know, see the world and, you know, meet other people, interact with them. So, you know, that's really the common bond we need to continue to inspire, as you guys with your podcast have, is that commonality of we're all human beings. It's just one family of human beings, you know. But like I said, basketball was always a major part of my life. I remember my freshman year, I played ball probably you got to look at a whole school year. It's probably 5 days I didn't play basketball. Like after class, you go eat and stuff. And then 5 o'clock, go play ball until 8 or 9 every single day. And then I would start going to business school because my major was in finance. And then I started seeing the correlation between what I was learning in finance and all the things I've been learning my whole life playing basketball. And that's where the idea of winning at the money game came to me. And what winning at the money game is right now is an educational program for elementary, middle, and high school students using basketball to teach them financial literacy. So we use basketball concepts like, for example, shooting free throws. So shooting free throws is a simple thing, but we all know it's not easy because a lot of games are won or lost by missed free throws or made free throws. So we use the comparison of saving and investing. It's a simple thing. You make some money, you take some and you save it. You take some other money, you can invest it as well. So that correlation of shooting free throws is simple, but it's not easy. Just like saving and investing is simple, but it may not be easy. A kid can understand that, hey, if I want to win at the money game or be successful financially, I got to make my free throws. I got to save and invest my money. So that type of correlation we do in volume 2. I use the shot clock. As you know, Golden State Warriors, they've made it where shooting earlier in the shot clock is more efficient. So I use that to talk about the time value of money. It's better to have money now than to have it later on, because the money now can be invested. It can, earn interest, things like that. I use the triple threat in basketball. When you get the ball, they always say you want to be able to shoot the ball, dribble the ball, and pass the ball, where there's also 3 types of income: earned income, passive income, and portfolio income. So especially in the Black community, we're very focused and dominant in sports. So I wanted to use basketball to teach those financial literacy principles. And I think it was my time on Wall Street. So after I graduated, I think I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And, you get inspired by all these movies and stuff like that. I was like, I want to work on Wall Street. It definitely is hard because you got to take your different series, exams and things like that. And just being there managing people's money. Like I was a commodity broker. So for your audience, if they've seen like Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, that's what I did in terms of gold, orange juice, wheat, cattle, things like that. That's what we would trade. And I think that was my second book. And the first book I wrote was Harry's Bearded Adventures. It was about a beard coming off of a wizard's face and, traveling, meeting Santa Claus, a pirate, lumberjack, things like that. So, just being creative in that aspect and then really wanting to, put those ideas on paper.
Good choice, Kofi. Good choice. Hold on. I got to interject real quick. Great choice. Shawn, appreciate you coming through. The episode is not over, but I'm just really impressed. And I'm even inspired by just talking to you right now, man. I'm really enjoying this. Kofi, great job.
Thanks.
Great job.
Shawn, what so let's table the conversation about the extracurricular stuff that you were doing, your passion to write and to teach finance. Let's talk about travel a little bit. So I'm going to give you 2 points that solidified, like you're already, a close friend of mine in Syracuse. And then, through, while you were on Wall Street and all of that, and like you taking time to teach me how to trade options, like that forever sticks in my memory. And that's something that like, you have friends and you can have close friends, but even those close friends, may not have the ability or take the time to teach you something that could help you feed your family for the rest of your life, right? And you took time, right, to teach me to trade options, right? Even as rudimentary as the questions were in the beginning, as many times as you had to repeat some of the concepts, and you even traded with me. So I just want to say thank you for taking that time. So that's one of the things that will always stand out in my relationship as, solidifying that, you go beyond friendship, you're family to me. The other, there's 2 others. The other one was this random day we went to play basketball with an acquaintance of ours. and we were all playing, and I guess it was the acquaintance. He set it up where we were playing with like some of his friends. I don't know what the deal was, what the relationship was with those people and that person, but we all went to school together. We all used to ball together, and like whatever, and we were pretty close. So I remember I was out the game, and Shawn and this other person were on opposite teams, and Shawn, you got to keep me honest with this story. Something happened where like one of the other guys was guarding you, and like it was competitive trash talk, but like our acquaintance felt a certain way about it, and like got upset with Shawn in the ride home. And at that point, I mean, it was hilarious when Shawn was like, "Man, fuck you!" Like like I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking? Playing basketball? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like we're gonna trash talk." And I was like, "No." And George, that leads back to the conversation you and I were having offline the other day about like being in a situation, being caught up in the cloud of being around someone and hearing from other people what it's what actually is going on, but not being able to see it. So that was a turning point for me, because I started to see kind of what type of person our acquaintance was, and all of the things all of our friends that were outside of the situation would constantly say, like, "Hey, you might want to be careful. This person seems a little off." So that was one. And then travel-wise, I mean, Shawn, you took me up on the offer to come travel with me to a foreign country, and I want to say I had the time of my life in this foreign country. I've never had so much fun just hanging out with one other person and meeting other people. I think that was the other piece of it. Was it's one thing to go away with friends and not really be receptive to meeting other people that are on the trip and like actually hanging out and like welcoming them into your circle. But when Shawn and I went on this trip, we met a bunch of people, and we all ended up becoming this. Every day that went on, we were this larger and larger group of like-minded individuals that weren't going to put each other in jeopardy. There was one person we just questioned like what he was doing. He would go to like the casino in like this other country with like this woman that he met, and like they would do all types of like crazy stuff in the casino. And I'm like, bro, you don't even speak the language here. He's out here cars driving to other parts of the country, and me and Shawn are looking at him like, bro, like what are you doing? Are you trying to step in a box? Like, so those are the things that stand out, that solidified it. And Shawn, you are forever a part of my family.
I appreciate it. Same thing here. So just going through those 3 points, the first one you mentioned. So just getting on Wall Street was a very major thing that I wanted to accomplish. Growing up, my number one thing was to make it to the NBA, and I think going to Syracuse was very important because it let me know that I wasn't good enough. And sometimes you got to know that you're not good enough for certain things, but it didn't hurt me. I just saw other players who also weren't on the team who were better than me and I would play against. And I was like, man, this guy's better than me and he's not on the team. And then when the guys who do come play, I see they're way better than me, and not all of them are going to the NBA. So it was a humbling thing, but something that was very important to just let me know, like, hey, you put all your effort and your energy into this thing, growing up into basketball, you did the best you could, and I was happy with it. So I was like, all right, what's the next thing I can do and really put my effort into? And it was getting on Wall Street. And so when I got there, it's a lot harder than you think, and then you have to get clients. So like my first 6 months, I was on the phone for 6 months calling 200 people a day, learning how to get the language on, because you need to get clients so you can trade their money. So for 6 months, 200 people a day, people just hanging up. I'm horrible on the phone. Hang up. I finally got my first person. I was like, this guy was like, all right, send me the information. I was like, what? And then we talked later, and then he was like, oh, I'm going to send you a check. When I got the check, I was like, I called a random person, and they send me a check for 20 G's to trade with them, even though our company's legit. But it was just like mind blowing at the moment. I was like, okay. And then traded his money, did well. I had another buddy, his family gave me money. I did well when they had the Arab Springs. So we bet on oil because when that situation happened, the price of oil went up. So we were making crazy money at the trading company during that time. But it's always and right now I'm a little harder on rap music because I think the artist may not be as good with the messages. But in terms of Kofi talking about the option trading, Jay-Z has a quote in Reasonable Doubt. It's like, I'm definitely going to mess it up, but he's like, in terms of your team, if everyone's rugged, no one's going to fall because they'll be each other's crutches. So it's like, if I have this information, I know it, it's in my benefit to teach Kofi or teach you, George, or anybody else, because it's going to make you better. And then think about it. I don't want to be the only rich person, and then everyone's always asking me for stuff, and then we're always taking my boat. I'd rather have the boat. Kofi has the helicopter. You have the Ferrari. That's how it's supposed to be. So I'm always happy to share the information I know because that person could ask a question that could, better my knowledge or teach me something else, So that's how I always looked at that situation, that you got to be willing to, especially your close friends, and that's why you need to vet people in terms of their actions, and that gets to the second story you told, to be able to give them that information as well. So on the second story, the acquaintance, we're playing ball. He invites us there. There's some other people. We're playing ball. I'm encouraging him, and I'm balling, and the other guy who's guarding me is like talking trash, and I'm like, well, we're all friends. Like, we all know each other. Like, there shouldn't be this much trash talking. Like. And the guys like keep going on, and I'm like, well, I'm not backing down from no trash talk. I've been playing ball all my life. You ain't gonna out trash talk me. And then he said some comment like, I hurt my ankle, and then he said some comment like, oh, I'm gonna go outside and get like a gun or something. And I was like, we are playing basketball. And the thing is, the acquaintance didn't even check. Like, that's what got me mad, because I'm like, dog, I know you. We went to Syracuse. Some guy threatens like he's going to do something to me while we're playing basketball. You don't even say anything. When we get in the car, you're talking about how, oh, you're embarrassing me. I'm like, the dude threatened me. I didn't threaten anyone with, violence in playing sports. So it was just, he revealed his character. And they say when people show you who they are, believe them. And I was like, oh, this guy's a joke. And we just stopped hanging out with him. And then the other thing is, going abroad, like Kofi is a very like friendly person. Me, I'm a friendly person once you get to know me, but at first I'm always like, who is this person? I'm not trying to meet all these people.
Kofi want to kumbaya with everybody.
He's very friendly, as you know, so he can definitely get in a situation and meet people and then, bring them on and all that stuff. So once you're able to go and travel with someone and y'all get along and, we've been on trips having a blast, dude, like go out, hang out. And we have the similar interests in terms of, sports. Kofi doesn't like LeBron.
Oh, please don't even mention that. It might be horns and smoke coming from out of his head.
That's gonna be killing me, dude. He'd be like, "You see, LeBron? I told you."
I'll be like, "Yo, Kofi, I don't even want to hear it, man. I'm not entertaining a hate call right now."
It's so funny, dude. I'd be dying. But so we got similar interests, also like with the culture, me coming from Liberia, his family also being African, and then music and all that stuff. So it's like easy. This is my brother. Like, as he mentioned, it's easy to hang out with. And I know he's a good person in terms of like the things he's done for me while I was in New York, so you can really see people's character. They always reveal themselves throughout the years, and he's always revealed himself to be a great person. That's my guy. I really appreciate him for all he's done for me. Also like helping me trying to get a job at Lego, things like that. So currently I'm a recruiter for accounting and finance positions. I love my job. It goes with my degree. My boss is awesome. The company is awesome. But when people really try to help you, that's a very important thing. So that's my guy.
Kofi, man. You came through. I gotta say it again. You came through in the clutch with this one, and in so many ways, because we get to see you. The audience gets to see you from a different perspective, other than me just sitting up here and talking about our relationship and the things you've done for me, and it just confirms that you come from a real place when you do these things. You're a sincere and a genuine person, and you're just a great guy. You know, you're a really cool brother, man, and I respect it. And good choice again, Shawn. You came through. You came through, bro.
Yeah, but he's a great guy. Like, even the times in New York, like for his party, he loves doing it big. He loves Justin Timberland.
Yeah. Oh man.
So yeah, Nelly. Oh, I forgot Nelly. Nelly, if you watch it, this is your number one fan. Like,
yeah,
this is your number one fan.
Legit, Nelly was our soundtrack in school because when we went to school, Country Grammar had already been out or was like still like charting, and then my second year, so Shawn's junior year, he dropped Nellyville, and you don't remember, if you're too young to know what Nellyville was, or you don't remember it, that was Dilemma, Hot in Here, like everything, right? Like he goes like double diamond on that album or something like that. And then after that, he was, it was just every year, it was crazy. I mean, Get Your Eagle On and My Place with Jaheim. Like, how do you drop a double disc? How do you drop two separate albums the same day, go like 6 times platinum on both of them, then months later drop them as like a total album together and go platinum on that, and didn't put any new music? Like, it was nuts. Nelly legit was the soundtrack of our 4 years at college. And don't forget Tip Drill and...
Yeah, you're right. Because with the Hot in Here at parties, man, that comes on, everybody's ready to... I was like, you're right. I forgot that. Jogged my memory. That is the song.
You really are a Nelly fan for real.
Drill, but I still keep a copy of the video.
He made me go to a super spreader like concert just to see Nelly. Yeah, it was crazy. He invited me down to this food truck festival. He was like, Nelly's performing, and I'm like, all right, Nelly's cool, but I'm gonna go for the food trucks because I want to try the food. And I get there, me and my wife, we drove 3 hours, and it was not a mask in sight. Nobody had a mask on. So I'm coming from Jersey, where at the time masks are still in full effect and everybody got a mask on, to go out there, and it was like, wait, all right, there's one person with no mask, there's another person, and then it was like, hold on, we're almost the only people in here with masks on. And then he comes, he's late. Mind you, we were there almost 2 hours before he even got there. So I'm fuming at this point. It's like, hold on, this dude is crazy. I'm telling my wife we're leaving. Like, we're not going back to his house after that. The whole spend the night, the weekend thing is over. After this, we're gone. He comes, so when you're waiting for somebody and they finally get there, you're not really as mad because you're just happy to see them. Yeah. So we started kicking it, and the vibe got right, and everything was good. But as soon as Nelly was about to come on and perform, he left us. I was like, Kofi, we're not gonna go over there because that's where the crowd really is, and it's still no mask in sight over there. He was like, all right, well we'll be back when the show is over.
Yeah. If you can ever see Nelly live, I recommend anybody that's watching this spend the money. Like, it's crazy because, even when we were at Syracuse, Shawn, didn't we see Nelly came, right? And do you remember that show? Nelly came, Fabulous came up, and the Clips. Mm-hmm. And I went to see it. It was in downtown Syracuse. That was where I first learned Nelly is a really good performer. Stage presence, interacts with the crowd, actually does his music, right? And doesn't have like 47 people with microphones and you can't understand. So I was like, that's dope. And then that same concert, I got to see what a bad performance was. Fabulous was performing, and believe me, Fabulous has gotten a lot better from what I understand in his performances. But he was performing, and somehow a fight broke out like in the stands, and he stops and he stops the show. He's like, "Yo, there's a fight going on," and he's just watching the fight. I'm like, right? The Clips were dope. That was the other soundtrack of college. What was it? Was it Lord Willin' or Hell Hath No Fury? Whichever was their first album with Grinding.
With Grinding,
incredible.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I don't understand. Like, this is the problem I find with people that are signed to amazing producers, especially in rap, right? How are you not in the studio if I could rap and I was signed to Timberland, I would be in the studio every single day, taking whatever he has that is done as a beat and rhyming over it. Like, I don't understand how the Clips could be signed to the Neptunes. Their first album was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be pumping out. You remember how DMX pumped out his first album and his second album both in the same year? Like, I would have been 2-3 albums a year if I were the Clips. Are you kidding me? Right. They're signed to Neptune. They're signed to the Neptunes, and they're not pumping out any albums. And I know there was some issues between them and Jive and all of that, which led to the Neptunes not actually working on Justin Timberlake's second album. But I mean, the same thing happens with Timberland. How are you signed to Timberland and you're not putting out zero music? What's wrong with you? So,
but that's the thing. Some people are like artists, and other people are just, they're just in the rap game.
They're just good at it. It's like, okay, we're good at it. We got other stuff going on, but we can make some money doing this. So we're going to do this too.
Yeah, you're right, George. It's just like the NBA. You're like, dude, you're a professional athlete. Like Ben Simmons. How you don't have a jumper? All you got to do is just learn how to shoot. Who doesn't want to pass you the ball to help you work on your shot? And you look now, you're like, how do you still don't have a jumper? Like, there's mad people in the league who never progress. But you look at Steph, he had a jumper, had no handles. Now his handles are crazy. Kawhi could only play defense. Now he's offensive machine. Some people are really about the sport or about their music and want to progress as a artist or athlete, and other people are just in it for whatever the lifestyle can give them. That's the thing.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
It's life. It's just, you see the people that put the work in and really chase that goal and that greatness, and then the people that's just okay with being pretty good at something.
Yeah, there's a book I gotta share that you guys should check out in your audience as well. It's called The Growth Mindset. It's by like Carol DeWitt. Yeah, that's her name. And she talking about there's two types of mindsets. There's a growth mindset and there's a fixed mindset. So they said, okay, one of the great examples is like, say you had say this is a day you receive your paper and you get a C on it. And then while you're leaving class, you walk over and then you see there's a ticket on your car. And then I'm thinking, what would be the next thing? And then something else happens. And he's like, well, someone with the fixed mindset would be like, oh, man, I know I'm not good in, like, let's say calculus or this math class. And then they'll be down. And then this ticket, they'll be like, why is all this happening to me, and get upset? Well, the person with the growth mindset will be like, oh, I got a C. Well, we still got 2 more tests. I still have time to improve and, increase my grade. Maybe next paper I could get a B, or maybe A, I just got to work a little harder. Or if they got the ticket on their car, like, oh, man, I shouldn't have parked here. It could have been something, someone could have been injured or something. I should be more careful. So the whole thing they're saying is everything you want to do, there's a growth mindset in terms of understanding that you can get better at whatever you do. Like with your podcast, you can get better. It's the mindset of I'm always learning, but I'm improving to get better and better. So it's a very important book in terms of how you approach situations. And the main thing you always want to look at is I'm in the situation, I can get better and better, just like with reading, with education, with math and things like that. Just to piggyback on another thing, you guys remember that Tai Lopez guy who was on YouTube?
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
So he was a guy who used to, probably on YouTube, maybe like 10 years ago, he used to have like commercial where he's like, I'm in my garage and my Ferrari, but I have all these books and stuff.
That does sound familiar.
Yeah. So and he has glasses. So I remember watching some of the stuff because the commercials are coming, and he was interesting. So I'll let it play before the video I want to watch would start. And then he was always saying, like, these Bill Gates, these Elon Musk, these guys, the reason why they're CEOs because they just read more than you. And I was like, that makes sense. They're reading more, and through reading, you become smarter because you're learning from other people's experiences, and also learning about their stories. So due to him, I did the 52 book challenge. I was reading one book every week. And I did that 2 years in a row, bro. Wow. It was mad hard. Like I was reading like 2-3 hours a day, no TV. But it really, so I would say it made me smarter because of all the information and the stories I was, absorbing, but also it humbles you because you realize, man, reading 52 books or 104 books in 2 years is a lot, but there's like millions of books. So there's always knowledge that you may not always be able to acquire, but always striving to learn more. That's why, to me, reading is one of the most important things. For kids, for adults, you got to read books. It's so important. For Syracuse, I think our school motto is knowledge crown those who seek her. That's the motto of Syracuse, and it's a very important one. Like you have to constantly be trying to better yourself. And I feel reading, improving your oral communication skills, your written communication skills is one of the crucial things in life, especially in the Black community, because like I was telling Kofi before, I think rap music and our slang culture really, it's good sometimes, but it's also bad because you don't express yourself as much because you'll be like, oh, I'm mad. Or what was the other one? I'm hot, I'm heated. Instead of saying, oh, I'm frustrated at this situation, or using other words to describe, the situation you're feeling or your mood at the time. So I think more reading would be more beneficial and just getting better books for kids so they can read these books, like maybe the Harry Potter or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's a fantastic book. What's it called? Charlotte's Web. Dumb. I gotta be honest. Charlotte's Web. Woo! Fire. At the end, my man card is still intact, bro. I cried at the end. I'm telling you, I can tell. No grown man can read that book without crying. It's so well written that like E.B. White just builds you up, and then you just be like, oh my goodness. Charlotte Web is fantastic, man.
Nice, 100%. I couldn't agree more. I'm actually gonna go pick up that book you was just talking about. Probably tomorrow. Yeah, I was in Barnes and Nobles today, actually, exchanging the Art of Seduction. I had picked up the Art of Seduction.
Oh yeah, Robert Greene.
And I started it, and I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't for me. I don't think I think I just tried to jump into it off of what I thought it was going to be. And then as I started to read, it was like, I don't even want to dedicate that much time into it. I'm just not interested.
Yeah, the 48 Laws of Power is great. And then I know he had the Art of Seduction is good. You kind of learn, but it's not a lot of stuff you can apply. It's a good read in terms of like stories they tell about like ancient times and stuff. And then he had the other one, like the strategies or something, but a good one you could go to is I think he had like a pupil. It's called The Obstacle is the Way.
Oh, okay.
Is another good one. Even 50 Cent's when 50 Cent's teamed up with him, that 50 Cent.
Yeah, The Power, I think it's 50 Laws of Power, something like that. 48 Laws of Power, something like that.
Yeah, he did like 50 something, but that one's good too. That 50 Cent's book was good. I like that one. But yeah, there's a lot of books I could recommend. I would say if you're looking for, because the way I did it, I wanted like educational books in terms of like mindset books, but also biographies and autobiographies, and then like fun reads, because you can't read like 52 500-page books. You ain't gonna finish.
Yeah.
So I had to. That's why I had to do the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory type one, Charlotte's Web, so I could read like maybe 3 or 4 of those in 1 week. Yeah. And then could go hit a bigger book. But a good biography, Up From Slavery, Booker T. Washington, you got to read that book. What a fantastic story. I think definitely I'm going to get all the age and dates wrong, but I think he was like 9 years old when slavery ended. So you got to think you still have understanding of that. And then the way he worked himself, he's all about working hard. And then through that, you'll be able to achieve and have equality. And so it was at that time, it was Booker T and W.E.B. Du Bois, in terms of Du Bois was saying like through legal action and things like that, that's how you can change stuff. And Booker T was saying through hard work, meaning like if I'm the only electrician or the plumber in my area, you're not going to be as racist to me because you ain't going to get your plumbing or your electricity done. So by being highly skilled, you'll be able to break those divides. So it's good to see those two mindsets. Another good one is the Sam Walton book, the starter or founder of Walmart. Mm-hmm. That's a very good book. Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, fantastic biography or autobiography, and also Nelson Mandela's one. Oh man, Nelson Mandela, fantastic human being. Like I know we all hear about him, but once you can read his autobiography, what an amazing human being. Like the things he went to, because dude, wrongly in prison for such a long time, you get out. I would have murked everybody when I got out. I would have been, we shooting everybody.
Yeah.
To forgive those people and knowing that it was bigger than you, this country has to, let those things go and move forward. A fantastic human being. So I'll highly recommend that one too. Yeah, Nelson Mandela's autobiography is great, man.
I ended up picking up Will Smith's book.
Oh, okay. He got a biography?
Yeah, it's called Will. I grabbed that, and the annoying part though of the trip was, so I got the book that I'm trying to exchange. I asked the lady, I'm being as nice and polite as possible. I asked the lady, how does it work? I don't know. So she's like, yeah, just grab the book you want, take it to the register and tell them you want to exchange it. I get to the register. The people before me, they're doing their purchase. And the girl, she's extremely nice and pleasant. It's giggles and smiles and a lot of conversation going on. Mm-hmm. But then when I get to the register, it was like, hi. Like, I was like, hold on. Like, where's the customer service? Like, what's the problem? But I'm still trying to be like, hey, how you doing? Good morning, all of that. I tell her, I give her the book. The book is brand new. It's no creases in it, no stains on it, nothing. She's looking at the top, the bottom, the side. She's looking in the pages. And I'm like, I just want to exchange it. She took it back. But it was so annoying to me, and I didn't want to feel like it was a race thing because I don't be wanting to do that. Yeah, but the customers she was dealing with before me, they were white, and she was extremely pleasant, and I came to her with the same energy, and it was like, you don't even want to service me, or you think I'm trying to get over by exchanging the book, but the book is perfectly fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely disheartening with situations like that where, you see someone being nice and you're, trying to reciprocate the same type of energy and attitude. And then, it falls apart and you're just like, what is this? Yeah,
it was like, come on. One, maybe it was the clothes I had on. I had just left the gym, baggy shirt, sweats or whatever. I had my hoodie on, but it's still, Kofi, I know you love sweats, bro. They weren't nice though. I didn't have on the nice sweats. I had on the house workout sweats.
Those are the best sweats. I'm telling you, sweatsuit season is upon us. I am in sweats all day, every day.
You gotta have the quality ones. The ones that I got from Walmart, the $7 ones, is a no-go for me anymore. I won't be wearing those anymore.
Yeah. But it's probably like the impression, it's unfortunate, but we all get judged off of impression. So that might have been, but she definitely could have handled it better. But it's like sometimes in those situations, they're not perfectly trained to handle multiple people and be respectful to all people, so it's definitely a hard thing.
It is what it is. I'm still gonna enjoy that book. I'm gonna check out some of the books that you said. The Alchemist is another great one. That one, I really enjoyed that one. And I really enjoyed this conversation, Shawn, man. I appreciate you coming through and talking to us. Kofi, I appreciate you bringing it up and stepping outside your your box and you know, moving with some intention this year with what we trying to do with the show. Shawn, you're our second guest of the year. We decided that, you know, I want to be more guest focused and talk to some people and get some opinions and see what inspires them in their everyday life and in their profession. And just this, you really blessed us. You really blessed us. I really appreciate you coming through and just sharing. And I want to extend the invitation. You want to come back again? You're welcome. Yeah. You're definitely welcome. It was a great experience.
Excellent. Thank you. I do appreciate it. You know, it's definitely been fun, you know, catching up with Kofi, also meeting you, George, you know. And then I think next one we can get into some, you know, some other topics, maybe music, you know, culture, fashion, things like that.
100%. Because I want to hear more about this writing, you know, that you're doing. I'm definitely interested in that. That'll be a good one. You know, we'll stay in touch, Kofi. You did a good job, bruh. You did a good job.
Yeah, really
you made up for not asking me what happened when I fell off the ladder.
Yeah, it's been a busy week, but really quick for the both of you. I watched this show last night on HBO Max called Life of Crime. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like a documentary over like from the 70s up until 2020. This famous, I guess, director, he was following these three people that were into like drugs and or you know, shoplifting, robbery, and like he followed him literally from the 70s all the way into 2020, and he put it all together. Great documentary movie. It shows you, at least one of the things I took away from it was, you know, growing up in New York and growing up in, you know, a not so great neighborhood, you knew all of these elements were around all the time, right? Because like it takes place, like these people lived in Newark, you know, it's just interesting seeing like they were addicted to heroin back then in the 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way up until present day, these individuals. And it's just interesting to see back then there was no real care or like second thoughts about people that were addicted to like crack or heroin then, like there is now, where it's like, oh, they did this violent thing or they, you know, messed up in life, but we have to give them another chance and wrap our hands around them and make sure that they like if you just even watch the footage from the show, you're like, man, like the 80s in New York was a wasteland like that. And like, man, I even vaguely remember some of that stuff, like buildings being half torn down, condemned, like what you would see in The Wire about Baltimore. That's how New York was in the 80s also. Like, it's just interesting watching the difference in care and desire, and it just makes you wonder what's changed so much. Mm-hmm. It's the same. Could it be that it may be a different group of people now? But anyway, another show, another.
Yeah,
I agree. It's like something like Chappelle mentioned. Since it's a different group of people now, we're all caring about the drug problem, which is, you know, you should always care if you got your citizenship, you know, affected by drugs and stuff, because it doesn't make a good society. So I'll check that out. I would also recommend for Netflix, there's a movie, like it's called The White Tiger. It's an Indian movie. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. Fantastic. Like I know people have seen Slumdog Millionaire and like that. This movie is better than that. Like if you could watch it this week, you know, we got the MLK holiday, you know, thank that man for all his sacrifice. You know, actually literally giving his life up for the cause. But White Tiger is a fantastic movie about just ambition told from, you know, that Indian point of view, or it has that Chopra lady in it, I think the Jonas, his wife. She does a good acting job in it, but it's a fantastic movie. Like it's a must-see movie.
Fantastic. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah, check it out. White Tiger. I'm going to make my wife watch it with me.
Oh, yeah. You guys will enjoy it. Like, it has everything. Comedy, action. It's such a great story. It's like gripping. And it's not like like even I would say like someone in middle school or high school could watch it. It's not like vulgar or graphic or anything like that. But it's a fantastic movie on ambition.
Cool.
Nice. Well, I think we kind of gift wrap this one with a bow for you, Shawn. Again, appreciate you. Kofi, appreciate you. If you're out there and you're watching, you enjoyed, subscribe. Yes. But either way, you already know what it is. Whoever you are, wherever you are, no matter what you're doing, just be inspired. Choose to inspire, not destroy. You heard? Peace.
Peace.
Yo, choose to inspire, not destroy.